Okay, hi everybody. We're back in the lab. I want to show you what's going on with your plants. I have moved them around and done some reorganization, but there are new plants that have been seed started since we talked last. There are plants that are just really getting big and beautiful. Sage. This is the sage and basil and parsley that you started. Over here we have some of the tomatoes. These are the heirlooms. Let's see what those are called. Those are the brandywines, and they're busting loose out of their containers. So we're going to address that today. Peppers, hot and sweet. Eggplant. By the way, this is what your uncut microgreens are looking like now. I let these go to harvest well because I didn't need them all anyway, but now you can see their true leaves, and I can actually say what varieties they are. This is a red Russian kale, which there's a lot of red Russian in there. And now there's a lot more bulk, but it's the same amount of nutrition, and that's why microgreens are so awesome for you. You can get a lot of nutrition and a little amount of bulk. Here's some seed starting that I did for some of the groups. The Brussels sprouts, some of the field cold loving crops needed to be started. Also some of your other things that are just really abundant, your zinnias, your nasturtiums. Oh, your kale, your dinosaur kale's looking great. And here's marigolds over there, more zinnias. Zinnias are really popular and they add a lot of pop to the garden, so we did a lot of them. And then over here we have reorged the survivors of the cuttings. Some more tomato plants. These are the new ones. They're the ones that'll go to the field, so they're of course not near as big. More dinosaur kale. Oh, and here's our first hoop house planting of cucumbers. Now look at this. These are pansies that you guys actually started, and they are just popping up in those little seed starting blocks. That just goes to show you some seeds take a lot longer than others. When here, by comparison, are the ones I seed started was it just last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, a week to 2 weeks ago. And these are some more of the things that are going to the field, both from the cold crop family, cabbage and broccoli, and also some more zinnias, and these are the ones for the field. What I want to just show you quickly today, the big work of the lab this week is actually taking those plants that you grew so well and are looking so beautiful and deciding which ones are going to be going into the hoop house and which do we need to hold for a longer amount of time, like for the field or for sale, and then deciding how we want to transplant them. Remember, there's the big block, which makes it really easy. Unfortunately, well, actually, excuse me, both of these were transplanted into the round cells. Let me grab one and show you. But you can see how the root systems are starting to go around the outside, which is the drawback of round cells. But these actually, I can work with this and make this work by just simply sitting them into that. But I can also choose to go with the paper, the biodegradable paper pots, especially if I want to plant them lower. Remember, tomatoes and the crucifix or brassicas family are both have that great root system where those little hairs become roots. You can actually plant them a lot deeper for more strength. So what I'll probably do with these, because we won't need the ones that we're transplanting for a while, is I'll break apart some of that root system a little bit. I'll stick them into a paper pot and then fill the soil to the top and make them a stronger plant in the end. And that'll give them more room to grow for another month before they go to sale or go to the field. Actually, it's even more than a month for the fields. You remember May 15th is our frost-free date, and June 1st is really what I use. However, a good amount of these will go into the 2 hoop houses, and those we can just leave. We might start, well, I will start putting a little bit of fertilizer into the water just to keep them happy for another couple weeks. So potting on is the process of moving from one size pot to another, and that's to give them more time to grow. I do want to grab a square one just to remind you how it fits in there. And both of these that I chose were not square. So let's just take a walk back over here. And I guess we did all of our tomatoes in the cells. We were probably in a little bit of more of a hurry. But let me go ahead and just grab one of these peppers. And even though, I don't know if you can see this, you can't see the outline exactly of the pod anymore because of watering. It's kind of made those air lines kind of mesh together, but they still come apart in the square, even so. And you can see they don't have all that root going around. That is the huge advantage. And then if everything goes well, they will just sit in there. However, we don't have the advantage of planting it deeper, and that's the disadvantage. So deciding what's going where will be the work for me today. How I'm going to pot up for the ones that are still going to be in the lab for a while, and then adding fertilizer to the ones that will stay in the small cells. Now, one other thing I want to say that I'm actually working on in here, even though you can't really see it, that is the process of what we call hardening off. When we are prepping plants to take them into the more natural environment from a perfect environment, we have to go through a process of what we call hardening off. And that's simply adjusting the temperature to become closer to the real temperature of day and night outside. So I have been lowering the temperature day and night in the lab to give the plants, well, actually to slow them down a bit too, because you guys did such a great job. Some of them are like way ahead of themselves, like these beautiful tomatoes and peppers. They still have a little while before they go in the field. So we don't want them to get too big. I will have to pot all these up, but they should be good then for another 6 weeks, the ones that are going into the field. But I am lowering the temperature because some of this stuff, and some of it I've already moved to the hoop house, and next week we'll be looking at how that's going in. But potting up and hardening off are two of the practices that are big right now in April as we prepare these plants for the natural ups and downs of colder nights, and even sometimes, colder days yet. Until June 1, we really can't count on, stability in the highs and lows. So that's the work of the greenhouse this week. Hope you're all enjoying your time at home with your families. Know that I'm taking good care of your plants. And next week we'll be meeting at the greenhouse, at the hoop house. So take care. Thanks for checking in.